then I prefer hymns as a Presbyterian. Kweku,
Yeah,
I trusted you. How's your weekend?
It was okay. Yeah.
I've not been
a lot
feeling.
of, football activities. International break is on, so yeah. I was monitoring so many games over the weekend. So yeah, my weekend was basically.
In fact, my weekend
football.
started very well.
Wow.
Very well. Except that I wasn't feeling
What's
too
your
well.
secret? Can you
Oh
share
no,
with
I
us?
was at the University of Ghana Stadium on Friday
for the Democracy
Cup. And you see, I really get excited anytime things are entrusted in the hands of people and they are able to deliver. It gives us hope for a better tomorrow.
Exactly.
If you look at the way and manner Primeval Consult went about the organization of the Democracy Cup, they demonstrated that they have the capacity, they have the ability, the know-how to stage any international event. In fact, it was a world-class event, world-class production at the University of Ghana Stadium. And I'll make time to commend Primeval because if it didn't go well, would have come to criticize them. So once people get things right, we also need to commend them so that it serves as encouragement for other people. Yeah. And then the icing on the cake was Kwesi Asma's spectacular goal that gave Hearts-to-Folk or delivered to Hearts-to-Folk the Democracy Cup 2025. And you know that the Democracy Cup winner will either be traveling to the United States or Germany.
Or Germany,
yes. And with the goal Kwesi Asma scored, the spectacular nature of that goal scored by Kwesi Asma, there is no way he will not make the trip.
He's really living up to
if he's fit, he should make the trip. Otherwise, it will be unfair. Because he delivered the Democracy Cup to Accra Hearts-to-Folk.
And
I mean, it gets really excited when, anytime Hearts-to-Folk have played the Olympics, often I go to the stadium and then I support Good Olympics. But when he scored, and I was jumping, and then I came down, I said, hey, I don't know has.
His performances for Hearts-to-Folk from last season to date has been a testimony enough that players in Division 1 needs to be given that special attention.
That's true.
A player who hasn't seen much of high-profile games like playing for Hearts-to-Folk against Asante Kotoko and all the big clubs in the Ghana Premier League. I think that Kwesi Asma is one to watch this particular season. If indeed you were a Phobian fan, one name that you need to be talking about, be watching out for in the Ghana Premier League for Accra Hearts-to-Folk certainly should be Kwesi Asma.
Okay. Kweku, what do you have for us this morning? Are the Black Stars expected to line up today? Is Coach Otuado expected to make some changes to the squad? We know that one change is certain. That is Elisha Owusu. How about the other players? Thomas Partey, is he likely to return to the lineup? We understand that one of the most informed Ghanaian players, Joseph Pentel, has reported to come. Kwesi Zibo is there. What would the arrival of these guys mean to the team and the players who get to start and those who do not?
So, Michael, if you've really followed the trend of Ghana Football Association, especially with regards to releasing of the flyers for Black Stars activities or Black Stars games, you can clearly understand that the majority of players or the number of players that normally appears on match day flyers are players that are going to play. So, for example, yes, that has been the norm. I've really paid critical attention to that. And that has been the norm for Black Stars for some time now. So, I'm tempted to believe our captain, that is Jordan Ayew, Inyaki Williams, and then Alexander Juku will start the game. But before we get to the Ghana team and properly assess the Ghanaian team, let's first of all deal with the Malian team. You remember we played them in Bamako. I think some months ago we played them in Bamako. So, Michael, this was the usual formation for the Malian team. So they went into the game against the Black Stars of Ghana, or they came into the game against the Black Stars of Ghana with the usual 4-4-2. That is the diamond formation, which has two center forwards, 4 midfielders, 4 defenders, and then the goalkeeper. So, per this lineup, it was more or less like a depleted team for the Malians. Because for some time now, or about 4 or 5 games, it's quite difficult to see some of these players that played against the Blasters.
Yeah, because it's been how many games after? This was game week 3.
Game week 3,
yes, played on the 6th of June,
exactly,
2024.
Exactly.
At the game was played at the Stade du 26 Match Stadium in Bamako.
Bamako, yeah.
Okay.
In Bamako. So,
and there's been 4 games after.
4 games after.
And you said there are major changes to the Malian squad.
Major changes in the Malian squad. So, goalkeeper Samasa, Falai Sako, Ndiakati, Mohamed Kamara, Guido, you get Koulibaly, Sagnan, Amadou Haidara, Sinayogo, you get a player like Dumbia, then their lone striker, that is Traore. These are the players that played against the Blasters of Ghana, of which Ghana won that game by 2-1. Now, fast forward 4 or 5 games after this particular game, a lot has really changed in the dressing room of the Malian team. So you come back and then talk about the changes within the Malian setup, especially in their recent game against Comoros at Bamako. They won the game by 3-0. And Michael, now their experienced goalkeeper, Djigui Diarra, you know him. He has been in so many AFCONs for the Malian national team. He's back into the team.
Wow.
And since Djigui Diarra came back into the team, they've played about 3 games in the World Cup qualifier without conceding.
We've seen his exploits in the CAF Champions League, Confederations Cup, with Tanzanian side, young Africans. And he really has a lot of experience on the African continent.
Exactly. Then you come to the back 4. That is protecting the goalposts for the Malian national team. You get the right back, that is Diakite, Fofana, Ndiakati, then Dante.
But many were asking whether it's the same Dante who played for FC Bayern Munich, but no, this is not Dante. This Dante largely Dante. Largely started his European football career for in Austria, where he played for Hartberg, moved to Storm Graz, joined FC Zurich in Switzerland, and now plays in the Portuguese league for Arouca.
Yeah. So regardless of the massive changes in the setup for the Malian team, Koulibaly has been able to maintain his spot as the most trusted midfielder for the Malians. Same as Sangare.
And I don't think that should be surprising at all, because again, Koulibaly, you look at his exploits for Lecce in the Italian Calcio Serie A. He brings a lot of quality, he brings a lot of stability to the Malian team. So it's no surprise that he's been able to keep his place in the team under the new manager, despite the many changes to the squad.
He's a typical box-to-box midfielder. So you can trust him to do that kind of job anytime there is the need to do that in the heart of midfield. Then you come to Nene, then in Diane in the heart of midfield.
But now, it looks like Mamadou Sangare is still in there.
Yeah, he's still there.
I see.
He's still there. He's also part of the few players that have been able to
he also played. He also played in.
Yes, he played part in the game that they lost to Ghana.
They lost to Ghana. And he also started his, just like Dante we spoke about, he also started his European club career in Austria, where he played for Liefering. And Liefering, there's a Ghanaian player. Is it Samuel Owusu? We had this fine boy, this winger. The name will come. I think it's Samuel Owusu. No, not Samuel Owusu.
Not Samuel Owusu.
But he used to play for Liberty Professionals on the local front. Leonard Nukwe should be able to remind us of the player. He was at one of the AFCONs. The first name is Samuel. I don't know why the second name is not coming. Izeman's player. Usually when he's on break, Izeman will bring him to the studios for interview. A light-colored guy, nice guy. He went to, I think, at one of the Africa Cup of Nations, he sustained an injury that took him off for a very long period of time. The name will come. But this Mamadou Sangare we speak about also played for Liefering. He had stint with Rapid Vienna. You know, Rapid Vienna is one of the top sides in Austria. And then in just this transfer window, in the summer transfer window, he moved from Rapid Vienna to RC Lens in the French top flight.
Okay. So you come to talk about the top 2. And Dumbia, he has been able to, also maintain his spot. He has been very consistent, making sure his prime duty is to score goals. The goals are being banged in for the Malian team. So these are the key players. So, Michael, if you track back and compare and contrast the number of players that played against Ghana when we played them in Bamako, and the players that took part in their last qualifying game against Comoros.
Okay. The name of the I just remember the name of the player. That's Samuel Tete.
Samuel Tete.
Samuel Tete.
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
Former
Samuel
Wafa
Tete.
player, right?
Former Wafa
Former
player. Yes,
yeah.
yes. Samuel Tete played for.
Yeah.
He played for Wafa. Had stints with Liefreng and then other clubs in the.
He's also part of
Austrian
the people
league.
that didn't get the opportunity to play for the Black Stars.
No,
Prospect and everything.
Yeah, he had a very bright prospect, but you can say he's one of the players we were a bit unfair to. Maybe it could be likened to the case of Jerry Akameko. Just that he had the opportunity to play in the tournament. Okay. He got injured, and then that was the end of the story.
Okay. So, Michael, it simply tells that after losing to the Black Stars of Ghana, the Malians came to a conclusion that, look, there is a lot to be done if only they want to qualify to the World Cup. And mind you, Mali has never been into the World Cup. I say the biggest achievement for Mali on the continent of Africa as an African country is the fact that they finished second in the 1972 African Cup of Nations. Aside that, they don't have anything better in history. Even producing players to be giant on the African continent, you can only make case for one player, that is Freddie Kanute, who won the African Best Player in 2007. Aside that,
let me say a very good morning to Emmanuel Ajimabedu. He also sent the name. He sent us a reminder. The player is Samuel Tete. Yes, Ajingo, you had it right. And I'm sure, I think Ajingo played with him at one of the AFCONs. Very promising player, Samuel Tete. Career ruined by injury, but that's the unfortunate side of their career. And that is why if these guys have to be paid, and we sometimes feel that money should not be a factor, money shouldn't be a motivation, I have always disagreed, because the footballing career is one of the shortest career anybody could have. And so they make the most while they are fit. They make the most while they are in good form to play. But that topic is for another day. Let's focus on the Black Stars' victory tonight. Okay.
So, having talked about the Malian team that played the Black Stars of Ghana, you have to also come back and then assess the Ghana team that played against Mali, of which we came back to Ghana without 3 points. So you start off from goalkeeper Lawrence Atizigi. At a point, he was the safest pair of hands for the Black Stars of Ghana, but due to Coach Otuado's, own understanding of the situation around Lawrence Atizigi, he's now sticking to the House of Folk goalkeeper. That is, what's his name?
Benjamin Asari.
Benjamin Asari. So,
is it a fair comment to say that due to Tuado's own understanding? I'm sure that at the point, a number of Ghanaians, you may have a different position, but a number of Ghanaians felt that Atizigi was not giving us the sort of comfort we would want in our post. And I'm sure the concerns called for changes. And Benjamin Asari hasn't done badly at all. I wouldn't want us to do direct comparison, especially when we have a game today. But he's also not done well at all. But I think it is.
I made that comment simply because
he calls
at the time he brought him, no one expected. People were not rooting for him to come in.
Because there was even Jojo Walakot who had always deputized Atizigi, but he overlooked the immediate deputy and had faith in Benjamin Asari, who so far has not really disappointed. He's been okay for us.
So Atizigi was part of the team that invaded Bamako and came back with a 3 point, with the usual 3 back, because before we qualified to the World Cup in Qatar 2023, it was very clear that the preferred back line for Otuado is the 3 back. Having Mohamed Salisu, Alexander Jiku, and then Ali Duseidu as the 3 back. Now in this formation, 3, it will be, where is it?
Yes.
So with this formation, it will be 3-4-3 formation for Otuado. Now in this case, the usual right wing back, then the left wing back. In this case, when Ghana is attacking, it means Tariq Lamptey and then Guido Mensah will be an invented midfielders to add up to the numbers of the midfielders that we have already. And nobody can argue with the fact that, yes, we've seen great midfielders for Ghana, great combo, the Michaelesians era, the Ajimambedus era, and co. But we can't talk about the midfield perfect combo and leave out Salis Abdul Samed combo with Thomas Partey. You get it? I mean, to some extent, yes, to some extent.
Khalida, today is game day, so I wouldn't want us to do comparison.
There is no comparison.
But if oh no, not at all. But I'm saying that you are talking about midfield combo.
Yeah.
And we can go back to talk about the Michaelisian Antoniana. We can talk about Michaelisian Sulemuntari. We can talk about Emmanuel Ajimambedu, Efi Yakwa Wakasu, Ajimambedu Wakasu, and all of that. And today is game day, so I don't want us to go there. But
in recent times,
this pair
okay.
will not Rabiu Mohammed, Rabiu Ajimambedu, Rabiu Wakasu, Rabiu Efi. Charlie, look, Canada, let us not go there. Let's leave it as it is. Today is game day. So on game days, I don't want us to be negative at all. But this your combo will not dethrone any of the pairs we have mentioned.
I hear. No qualms about that. Okay, so let me move on. So from midfield, you come to the attacking trio that had Mohamed Kudus, Antoine Semenyo, and then Enes Nyama. This was a decision that called for so many backlash on Otuadu because people.
So yes, this was the game Otuadu benched Jordan Ayew.
The captain, Jordan Ayew. So many were, talking against the decision of benching Jordan Ayew. But for me, from where I sit as a journalist, I think that the trump card, the plan B, the thing that did the magic was the introduction of Jordan Ayew
in the second
half. So from this
and that's one of the games you see Jordan, despite the few minutes he played, showed a lot of hunger in the game. Exactly. I don't know whether it was to prove a point, but his impact. He roared like a lion
on the day. His impact was felt on the day, and I think he won the day for the Blasters of Ghana. But Michael, fast forward. Now, from this particular game, a lot has also changed for the Blasters of Ghana. Like I mentioned, there is a new goalkeeper. Now you come to the
Ali Dusedu will not be in the lineup. He's not available.
We had Mohamed Salisu Alexander Jiku being called into a national team, but the last match we played against Chad, they didn't even enjoy.
Salisu was on the bench. Yes. Jiku was absent.
Jiku was absent, and
Tariq Lamptey was out.
Tariq Lamptey was also absent.
Thomas Partey was out on the bench.
Thomas Partey was absent. Gideon Mensah played. Enes Nyama is also injured, absent. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 players.
Just 4 players.
Just 4 players.
So it's Samed, Gideon Mensah,
Mohamed Kudus,
and Antoine Semenyo. Okay.
So we have 4 players from the team that won against Mali.
Okay. Playing in the last game.
Last game that we played against Chad. So
okay. And even for Samed, it was the first time playing a competitive game for us in more than a year.
In more than a year, yeah. You know, he went for a long injury.
Yeah, he went to Sunderland. He was injured and had to go back to France where he signed with OG Nice.
So the business on the day basically is that we are coming to face a more compact, defensively sound team. That is the Malian national team.
Okay.
Because Michael, the Malian team in this World Cup qualifying series, they've gone 3 consecutive games having scored 3 goals without conceding. Yes. They scored Comoros 3-0 at the Comoros backyard. They came back to Bamako and gave them another 3. Then they went to Central African Republic and drew goalless draw.
Okay. So they played Comoros. And that game was on the 20th of March this year, 2025.
Okay.
And then they beat Comoros by 3-0.
Exactly.
Then after they took on Central African Republic, who played their games away from home. And that game was on the 24th of March. Okay. And that game was played at the Stade Labi Zaoli Stadium in Casablanca, where they drew goalless.
Goalless draw.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So they've not considered.
No. In the last 3 qualifiers, Mali is yet to concede a goal, and they've scored 3 goals in the last 3. They've scored 6 goals in the last 3 games.
Okay.
You get it? They've scored 6 in the last 3 games. So when it comes to goal scoring, the Malians are doing very good. When it comes to defensively or the defense network too, they've been defensively sound. So it's a more or less like a team that has been properly positioned when it comes to defense. And if indeed we want to win this particular game, I think that we should have our A game tonight. And Michael, if you look at per the format or the formation that
And if you see, and for the Malians, after losing by 2-1 to the Black Stars, they have played 6, 7. In fact, if you add the World Cup qualifiers, then they would have played 8 competitive games. 9, yes, they played 6 qualifiers in the AFCON. No, they played 6 AFCON qualifiers after playing Black Stars, and then they've played 3 other qualifiers in the World Cup. And after conceding against Ghana, they played Mozambique in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. That was game week 1, where they drew in Mali 1-1 to Mozambique. After that game, they have never conceded. So in the last 9 matches, they've conceded in the last 9 competitive matches.
They've conceded
only once. So, and that was against Mozambique at home in the AFCON qualifiers. And the games, they drew goalless away to Madagascar in the World Cup qualifiers. And then they drew 1-1. That's the game I speak about. That game was played on the 6th of September 2024, where they drew 1-1 to Mozambique. After they beat Eswatini by a lone goal, Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. They beat Mali, also they beat Guinea-Bissau, also by a lone goal, Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. They drew to Guinea-Bissau away, goalless. They beat Mozambique away after drawing at home against Mozambique. They beat the Mozambicans away by 1 goal, and then came back home and beat Eswatini by 6-0. Now, they played Comoros, beat Comoros 3-0, Central African Republic goalless, and then came back to beat Comoros again by 3-0.
So per this statistics,
their losses have all been international friendlies, and then it was just one international friendly they played against DR Congo, and then lost.
So most of my analysis is
that they have a more compact team that concedes less.
Yes, most of my analysis is fueled by these statistics, and that is the more reason why I feel that it will be extremely difficult unless something beyond what I am seeing and what.
But you also know that. Look, you also know that the Black Stars are made for the difficult games.
Exactly. I'm not taking anything
the Black
away
Stars
from the
are
Black
made
Stars.
from and we can go back to the World Cup qualifiers. I remember when we beat South Africa 2-0, that Michael Essien goal in South Africa. South Africa were they were one of the best sides on the African continent at the time, and especially when we needed a win away. Little did Ghanaians expect that we'll be able to beat South Africa against all odds. We beat them and qualified for our first ever World Cup in 2000, ahead of the 2006 World Cup in Germany. I remember in the build-up to the 2014 FIFA World Cup against Egypt, when Egypt were top of Africa, we thrashed the Egyptians by 6-1 at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. When we played even Nigeria, ahead of Qatar 2022, the Nigerians had the big names. They had better form. They had been impressive at the AFCON, and many expected that Nigeria will be, and even at the time I think we had sacked our coach, and Otto was a stopgap coach. We had a terrible Africa Cup of Nations outing, but we went there and we delivered against the big boys. Even at the World Cup, when we played Czech Republic and they were the 3rd ranked team in the world, when we played against the United States, when people did not give us the chance to beat them, when we played against Germany, the game that we drew with Asamoah getting that goal for us. So it looks like the Black Stars, I mean, there are times they have disappointed, especially when it comes to AFCON and the semi-final games at AFCON and then the final games. But in games like this, when they are perceived to be playing against the big boys of the group, they perform. And in this qualifiers, Mali is the seeded team in the group. They are the team from Pot 1, and we beat them in Bamako. So again, this is a game, you could say that is a game against the big boys of our group.
Exactly, I agree with you. But another school of thought will also tell you that if indeed history works perfectly in some of these fixtures, then you have to go back and check 2010 or 2009 in Ghana's quest of qualifying for the 2010 World Cup. We met the same Mali during the qualifying series for the World Cup in 2010. We went to Bamako, beat Mali by 2-0, goals coming from Marty Wamoa and then Kodjo Asamoah. we came back latter part of the year in 2009. That is the return fixture.
Yeah.
They came back.
And
They
that's
scored the first goal here.
Yeah, we drew 2-2.
We drew 2-2.
Yeah.
They scored. I mean,
I remember that game, and there was a goal. In fact, our equalizer came from an unusual Antonian, yes. The Malians scored. I remember that game very well.
The Malians scored the first goal.
Yeah, Mali scored the first goal, and I think they scored through Lassana Fan. Yes, yeah. Lassana Fan. He scored the goal, and then Matthew Amoah equalized for the Black Stars. Yeah, and then the Malians went ahead again. I think it was Ndiaye. Yeah, Tenima Ndiaye. He shot the Malians into the lead again, and then Antoniana got the equalizer for us.
So again, you come back and then do this analysis. I like the fact that you've brought in those past games, the
historical antecedents and all of that,
lived up to expectations of many Ghanaians. But the question right now is that, now Michael, apart from qualifying at the expense of Nigeria, of which you and I know that yes, when it comes to African football, Nigerians are giant in respect of our, what do you call it, the bragging right or whatsoever between the banter between the Ghanaians and the
Zemu is also sending me something here. He says, Mali has never lost a game since 1968 if they played on the date 8th of September.
Yeah.
But we would have to look more into it. How many games have they played on 8th September? Which teams have they played and all of that? But
and some people
there's always a first
some people are also saying typically games on Mondays, it's extremely difficult for Mali to lose. But what I want to do...
Khalida will beat Mali.
No, I know.
We'll get the best results from this game.
Beating them is what we are all rooting for.
Yeah.
But we are here to analyze for people to understand if there is some sort of outcome. Then you will just conclude, oh, Metro TV told us that.
I mean, we need to bring to the fore all the permutations.
Exactly. So, like I was saying, that with regards to qualifying for the World Cup, apart from the double header against Nigeria, of which we didn't lose nor win in that game, we drew all the 2 games. Tell me which top team, which top African country that this current Blasters we've been able to beat.
Mali. Mali is ranked better than the Black Stars now.
Oh, I agree with you, but what I'm saying is we find it difficult to beat the top guys. And the countries that are beating Blasters and the countries that are making, winning games too difficult for the Blasters, it's so alarming. You talk about Niger, you talk about Comoros, Cape Verde, and you name these countries. These are countries that gives us a good run for our money. So yes, I'm a typical Ghanaian. I would like to see the Blasters winning. In fact, I want to see Blasters winning convincingly, handsomely. You get it? Like scoring 3, scoring 4, scoring 5. But the thing is, it's not easy. Even if the Blasters will win tonight, it will not come easy. Trust me.
Ghana is, let me make the correction. Ghana is ranked ahead of Mali.
Ghana is ranked ahead
Ghana
of Mali.
is ranked 67th in the world. Ghana is ranked 67th in the world, whereas Mali is ranked 79th.
Okay. So Ghana is ranked better than Mali. So apart from Mali, name them. How many better countries that would?
But the issue also is that we are not playing any top. We haven't played any top countries in recent times. The last top country we played in the competitive game, I'll say, is Nigeria.
Okay.
When we beat them to qualify for the World Cup, because after Nigeria, our games have been against. After beating Nigeria back in 2002.
Yeah.
Or 2022. Or you are talking about teams on the African continent.
Teams on the African continent.
Well, we have not played big boys on the African continent.
Okay, so but Michael, let's go back to
in competitive games.
Yeah.
Because after the competitive games have been against Angola, Sudan, Madagascar, Central African Republic, and the likes, Comoros, Namibia, and so.
Let's go back to the board and then.
Yes. Tell us how we have just about 3 minutes to wrap up. But let me share with our viewers that for those that cannot make it to the stadium, you know, the game is not live on any local channel. As we speak, things could change. But as we speak, the game is not live on any local channel. So for those in and around Accra who want to enjoy the best of radio commentary, where they get the feeling that they are watching the game live because of how we describe the happenings on radio for them, the place to get this sort of commentary is Original 91.9 FM.
Yeah.
Original 91.9 FM.
Yeah.
We are all moving to the Accra Sports Stadium right after this show. Here also on Metro TV between 6 and 7 p.m. before the kickoff. Everything that is happening, we bring into our viewers. They can also join us on Original FM 91.9.
Yeah.
And there they get the best of radio commentary.
Yeah.
But Kweku,
Yeah.
in the next 2 minutes, tell us how the Black Stars are likely to shape up today.
I think we are likely to play the usual 3-4-3 formation because we need goals. We need to win this particular game. There are 4 key players. I want to see them start this particular game. Yeah, for the first 11 for the coach. I want to see Alexander Jiku. I want to see more of Mohamed Salisu. I don't know the reason why Salisu didn't take part in the game that we played against Chad. But this particular game, we can't gamble. So I am looking forward to see Alexander Jiku and then Mohamed Salisu at the same time starting in the first 11. Thomas Partey should play this game. I don't like the news coming from camp. Maybe it's most likely the coach will drop Partey, but I feel that the load and the workload on the field of play.
Has Partey not regained full fitness?
That's what they are not telling us. I don't know what's going on, but I feel that Partey's presence on the field of play will make, a huge change in this particular game. Then up front, Antoine Semenyo fine, Mohamed Kudus fine, then Jordan Ayew, it's okay. I don't know how he can do things to bring in Joseph Painty because we need more direct players on the field of play against Mali.
So that's Joseph Pentel.
Yeah.
Do you think he should start ahead of Inaki Williams?
I think so.
Ahead of Inaki Williams?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Inaki
Well,
Williams
that's not surprising because Joseph Pencil undoubtedly is one of Ghana's most informed players, stealing the headlines in the MLS. Okay. We have a lot of messages, but unfortunately we can only do a few. Let me run through them. This one says, "Good morning, Michael." It says, "The Metro logo coupled with other team descriptions beneath the screens cover the third of the screen, making it impossible for viewers to actually observe full actions as displayed on the screen." Okay, I think we'll take note of that. He says, "Michael, are these supporters real? There is no life and morale." Okay. I'm sure you sent this a bit early. Later, they warmed themselves up. My very good friend, Jimmy from Gethsemane Presbyterian Church says, "Good morning to you guys. It's quite unfortunate that Ghana lost the match to Chad. In fact, we drew, but it felt like we lost. It says, as much as we're all disappointed with the result, I believe we should not be too hard on the players, as it was certainly not their wish to draw the game. Our support, both physically and spiritually, is needed now more than ever, so they can regroup and hopefully bring smiles to our faces." Jimmy, I agree with you perfectly. This one says, "Michael, the Black Stars are just not ready for any competitive mundial. Looking at the approach in the games." Okay, do not worry. The Stars will surprise you today. We are very confident that they will turn out a positive result when they line up against Mali this evening. Okay, Kweku, thank you very much. Please, you just give us the code because we don't have time.
The code is a sporty platform.
Okay.
B6NLKS.
B6NLKS.
Yeah.
B6NLKS.
Yeah.
If you missed it, you log on to our social media platforms, Facebook, and then also X. And then we're going to be sharing the code there with you.